If you're able to get a lot of scatter shots and multi-target infernos with your lightning spells, then witches are going to be one of the most effective things to use at Town Hall 13. So this is relatively simple attack for Town Hall 13s. The first thing you're going to do with your lightnings is you are going to take out as much of the most threatening splash defense as you can. In this case, at Town Hall 13, it's going to be the multi-target infernos and the scatter shots. Now, any base that has all single infernos is going to be much easier to take with this strategy, given all you have to do is zap the 2 scatter shots. Now, after that, you're going to drop a line of witches behind your golems with your king, queen, and warden. Most of the time, you're going to be using a wall wrecker. And once your witches go into the middle, you're going to use your royal champion to take out all the defenses that your witches cannot reach. And you're going to use your remaining spells, if you have any, to help keep her alive and make sure she gets as much value as she has to. As far as the army, we are going to be focusing on the use of the wrecker, which is going to give you access to most of, if not the entire base. Now, we're going to talk about how to make the decision as to what to put in the wrecker in the first replay, okay? So stay tuned for that, and you're either going to bring 1 ice golem with 5 bowlers, or you're going to bring extra tanks, whether it's an extra 2 ice golems, or even a golem, which some people like to bring. Now, you're going to be bringing your royal champion in as your 3rd stage, which is going to leave a lot of trash behind her, which is where the at least 2 wizards come in. And whether to use your ice golems or the golem in the beginning is going to be determined by whether there are single target infernos where you want to enter. Now, obviously, the witches are the star of the show. You're going to be bringing about 13 to 17 of them. 5 lightnings and an earthquake take out a level 2 scatter shot, so that's why you're going to be bringing either 5 or 10 lightnings and 1 or 2 earthquakes. You may need an access spell like a jump or even more earthquakes. The poison obviously is going to be for the CC, and then the freeze and the rages, you're actually going to be using them on the royal champion for the most part, because your witches don't necessarily benefit a whole lot from those rage spells. And then obviously there are other things like headhunters, extra wizards, baby dragons that you may be using for funneling or cleanup, like minions or extra wizards. This is something you're going to need to determine, but the troops I have here are going to be the core of your attack. For our first replay, we have a very obvious flaw that we are going to take advantage of in using these mass witches. So I want you to pause the video here, and I want you to take a close look at the base, find where that flaw is, where we're going to use our zap value, and then unpause it. It should be very obvious, okay? So hopefully now you're back and we can move on here. So we go over here, and if you drop the lightnings right there with the quake covering these 3, we should take out both scatter shots and the only multi-target inferno in the base, okay? We have the 2 single targets, so it's not really a big issue. So I'll go ahead and hit play here, and we start with just that, right? All that massive quake value, zap value. And notice he dropped witches over here a little bit ahead of time, just so these buildings go down before these do, so that the heroes can go inside. And we have the golems down to tank for the witches, and then we have an ice golem in the middle to buy the wrecker a little bit of time and make sure the wrecker doesn't take a lot of damage in the beginning. So we pause here, we've got good poison placement, and we've got a rage. That's just to go through the clan castle a little more efficiently. Usually rage isn't the best thing to use for the witches, but if you have the extra spells, then it's a good way to efficiently go through that clan castle, okay? So we go here, and soon this wrecker is going to make it into this compartment. Once we're there, we see that the witches are going to have access to this, they're going to have access to all this, they're going to have access to this. What are they not going to have access to that is a threat? This. All this stuff over here, okay? So what he's going to do, he's going to bring his royal champion here, and he's going to go here, and he's going to take out all the defenses that the witches couldn't reach. In fact, he's going to use some spells there too, okay? So now, we're going to pause here. You notice there's a royal champion and the warden statue over here. So once the wrecker goes through this wall, the wrecker is going to be under fire from these two. And what is a mistake, in my opinion, he is going to pop the Warden ability to protect that wrecker, when I don't really think getting through that last wall would have made a big difference, because the witches still would have been able to reach everything here. Okay, so now, here's the point I wanted to make about what to put in the wrecker, okay? I hope you can see it, but there's bowlers in that wrecker, okay? The only time I recommend you bring bowlers, assuming the wrecker is going to make it to the town hall, is if you are going to use the Warden ability through that town hall. Otherwise, the bowlers will get one shot off, and then they will die. Okay, so I'm going to hit play here, and you're going to see, boom, there goes the Giga Inferno. The bowlers are gone. Okay, so not a whole lot of value for those bowlers. So for that reason, I suggest if you're not going to be using the Warden for the Inferno, then just bring the extra 2 ice golems or even a golem. Okay. And that was not really planned. He wasn't planning on using the Warden there, but he kind of had to make a decision about whether to take out that wrecker. And whether it was the right decision is arguable. Now, as you can see, we have the Royal Champion over here. So the reason I recommend bringing at least 2 wizards is because this Royal Champion is going to leave trash behind her. And that's where the wizards come in, okay? So that they can start cleanup on that side to be a little more time efficient. So as you can see, these witches are pretty safe down here. But now he's using his rage and the free spells to keep the Royal Champion alive so that he can take down all these defenses over here that can possibly be a threat. Okay, so let's pause right here. We had a mortar, an archer tower, an air defense, and a cannon taken out by the level 20 Royal Champion's ability in one shot. Okay, that's an important point to make. And again, he's just using his freezes to get the Royal Champion through, okay? The Royal Champion's going to benefit from those spells, for the most part, better than the witches will, especially the Rage. And we have this wizard doing cleanup on this side. We have a bunch of other cleanup troops converging, and this base is completely cooked in a very well-planned and executed attack by General Sharky. So the source for most of my TH13, General Sharky here, is going to use mass witches again. This time it is in war, and when you look in the center here, so for TH13s, putting scatter shots next to multi-infernos like this is a massive base flaw, and you're going to see why, because General Sharky is going to hit the Inferno, the scatter, and the artillery with 6 lightnings. Then he's going to hit this artillery with 2 earthquakes, and that's going to be enough to take out all of this stuff down. And then he's going to hit this scatter shot with 4 lightnings, and this Inferno with the same 4 lightnings. And then this one is going to get 2 earthquakes as well, and that's going to go down. So at the end of all this, both scatter shots are down, the artillery is down, and there's only 1 multi-inferno remaining, and he is going to charge that, okay? So we'll go ahead and get this started, and we'll zoom in on these spells, and you're going to see 6 spells right there, 4 right there, and then he's going to use 2 earthquakes. This one hits these 3 defenses, and then this other one is going to hit the scatter, both scatters, and the artillery, and that goes down. I think he may have planned to take out that Inferno, because I remember him letting me know about the plan. I don't know why. I'm not an expert at Town Hall 13, but anyways, he gets his nice wide entry, gets his golems down first, followed by his witches, and the wall wrecker to get him into the base. And he has the heroes and the ice golem tanking some of the beams from that multi-inferno. He's got a poison on the Electro Dragon, make it less likely that you get one of those chains. But remember, the Electro Dragon's almost useless against witches, okay? For anyone who doesn't know, Electro Dragon does not do splash damage. They do chain damage. They're not the same thing. His chain can only hit up to, I don't know, what is it, 7 or 8 targets, and when you have all these skeletons down there, very unlikely that the witches are going to get hit. The thing that Electro Dragons tend to ruin are things like bowlers or P.E.K.K.A. Not so much P.E.K.K.A.s. but you catch my drift, and heroes as well. And then by now he has all these skeletons over here. He's got a big group in the middle overwhelming this expo. He's got a P.E.K.K.A and the queen and a couple witches over here with witches on the side, and there's not nearly enough splash defense left in this base to stand up to all these witches, and he swags this queen ability on a max Town Hall 13 in yet another very well done Zap Witch attack by Sharky. Just remember your priorities with the lightning spells, okay? The biggest threats to your witches are going to be your scatter shots and the multi-infernos, and then usually you're going to want to charge the artillery if it isn't convenient to take it out with some lightning spells. But other than that, this is a relatively easy army to use and an easy attack to plan, okay? And it may not be the best way to take down every base, but it's definitely something you should have in your arsenal for the ones that are particularly vulnerable to these witches. So as usual, I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, if this helped you out, leave a like. If you want to see more guides like this, then subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated.